Grace and George, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. I can hear you
Oh,
loud and
okay, good.
clear. What
Good.
time is it?
A few people emailed me saying that they registered, but they did not receive a link. I don't know if anyone had a similar issue.
I just registered and clicked on the link. There was a significant delay between clicking on the link and then Zoom responding and opening the window. So they may think that it doesn't work, but it may be. It was like a 30 to 40 second delay. So it looked like it wasn't working.
Okay. Guess we can wait a few more minutes. Chair and the vice chair is not here. I see Beth here though. But we'll see. Number of people signed up that still aren't here. So see Travis here.
Hello, sorry about that.
Okay, I haven't heard from Bob,
I can share it if need be.
Travis. So okay,
All right, so do you want to start or should we begin? You ready to go?
sure. Yep.
All right, so I guess we'll begin the Wednesday, October 8th meeting for the Montachusett Joint Transportation Committee, the MJTC. Let's begin with the introductions. I'm just going to go by whoever is on kind of as I scroll across the top of my Zoom. Or Brian, do you want to handle that? I don't know. We've done it either way. Doesn't matter to me.
Sure. Yeah, I've been doing it for Bob when he chairs, so I can continue that. That's fine. So typically, what we've been doing is I've been calling your name as I see it in the screen, and just if you could indicate uh who you're here representing, or if you're from a community or just a citizen, just so we can have some information for the minutes. So I'm Brian Doherty. I'm the transportation director at Montachusett Regional Planning. Grace Belmont.
Hi, everybody. I'm also from the MRPC, and my name is Grace, as said, and I'm one of the planners on the planning team.
Elizabeth Faxon.
Hi, everybody. Beth, I go by Beth, and am the planning board representative for the town of Townsend to this committee, as well as secretary.
Sherry Bean.
Hi, Sherry Bean, MRPC.
Tyler Godin.
Hi, Tyler Godin, MRPC.
Scott Rich.
Hi, it's Scott Rich. I'm the Assistant Administrator at the Montachusett Regional Transit Authority.
Travis Condon.
Travis Condon, Director of Public Affairs for the North Central Massachusetts Chamber, and also serving as Vice Chair on this board.
Janet Tice.
Hi there, Janet Tice, representing the Shirley Planning Board.
George Snow.
RPC staff.
Michael Yaboa.
Hi, I'm Michael. I'm a transit planner at the Montachusett Regional Transit Authority.
Daryl Amaral.
Good afternoon, Daryl Emerald, Mass DOT District 2 planner.
Amanda Reed.
Hi, Amanda Reed, Lunenburg Planning Board.
Elizabeth Wood. Elizabeth is here from the city of Leominster. John Codier.
Hi, John Codere. I'm the new town administrator in Ashburnham.
Lois Lunowitz.
Lois Lunowitz, China 9, Health Equity Partnership.
And I see some one private number on the line without a name affiliated. Could we just get your name so we can record it in the minutes? 781-230-8570. Okay, that's fine. So thanks everyone.
Thank you. Now it's time to
Hi,
move on to
sorry, I was muted. This is Teresa Rose from Life Care Centers of America.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. So now that the introductions are done, we're going to move on to the public comments. Does anyone in attendance have any public comment on the agenda items for today, or on anything that came up at the last meeting, possibly? All right, not seeing any, so I guess we'll move on to item number 3 on the agenda, approval of the August 13th, 2025 minutes. I know those were sent over as part of the packet, so everyone had a chance to go over those. Does anyone think there needs to be any changes, or can someone make a motion to accept them?
Scott Rich, I'll make a motion to accept.
Thank you, Scott. Do we have a second?
Janet Tice, second.
Thank you, Janet.
And Travis, we've been doing these on consensus as well. We haven't taken a formal vote.
Okay. Yeah, I know that's how the last one was, so that's fine. Now, item number 4 is the federal fiscal year 2026 schedule. I will turn that over to Brian on that one.
Yep, I'll take this. And really, it's relatively a light schedule today. And so I just put together this tentative schedule of business as it relates to this current new fiscal year that we're in. It being October, this is the beginning of the federal fiscal year 2026. And the official business as it relates to this group, and really the main purpose of it is to review some documents, federally required documents that the MPO must put together on a yearly basis and to provide feedback. So, I know most of you have been here for quite some time involved with this group. So what you can see here is when we anticipate taking care of this official business. We have the major federally required documents that we put together, the Transportation Improvement Program, Unified Planning Work Program, and the Regional Transportation Plan again this year. So on the tip front, there's always a possibility of an amendment. We anticipate some, minor amendments probably in November, December. We don't have anything this month, but we'll continue on with how we've been dealing with this the last several years. We'll kick off the new development schedule in January. We'll review where we left off, update some project statuses, have some additional information on what the new federal fiscal year, in this case 27 through 31, will look like. We encourage all communities with a TIP project to stay on top of their design consultant, really throughout the year, but it's important to get status updates so we know what we're looking at when we're figuring out scenarios and that type of thing, which we'll get to in March. By April, typically we'll have a draft MPO endorsement in May and June. So typical same type of schedule with our work program, the Unified Planning Work Program. Basically, this is the transportation staff's work program for the year. We'll follow a similar schedule kicked off in January. We'll solicit some projects from communities if we have the capacity to do so. We anticipate again this year to do that. We'll have a draft done for JTC review in March, and hopefully have an endorsed document by at least June. Our long range plan, the regional transportation plan. Again, this year we are looking at starting this process. Just some background on this. So this is our long range plan that looks out 20 years into the future, tries to identify some needs in the transportation system and where funding should be spent, among other things, in the Montachusett region. We've done this in the past on a 4-year schedule for the last few decades, really. The federal requirements are a 5-year schedule. So we're waiting for some guidance from our federal partners at Federal Highway and FTA. Seemingly, this will move to a 5-year schedule, but nonetheless, we'd like to kick it off again this year. And we see the JTC as a good group to kind of bring forth some of the planning exercises. Last time we did this, we got some great feedback on things like, the vision statement, the policies, the goals of this document that kind of influence what went into that. So we'll be looking forward to this group being a sounding board on that front as well. Nothing scheduled yet, but really it's just we're at the beginning stages of this. We can expect some agenda items at some point this year. And there's some other various, official business that we'll be discussing throughout the year, lesser items, more or less, but really no surprises or curveballs or anything like that this year. One thing I did want to bring up is, I first off appreciate everyone making the time to attend these meetings. I know it doesn't always, have a lot to do with your day to day, but we want to bring, again, some material that you may find useful in your communities, whether you work for a municipality or you're a volunteer, select board, planning board, what have you. So we're open to ideas for discussion. In the past, we've had Mass DOT discuss how to get a project funded through the tip. We've discussed various programs that municipalities may be interested in. Our staff is going to set up some presentations with some recent UPWP projects that we've worked on that maybe have like a regional type of flavor and will be useful to our communities. Also, there are two new sort of transit-related groups in the Montachusett region, the Regional Coordinated Council and the Transportation Management Association. These are really just getting off the ground. We anticipate having some updates from those groups on the TMA, the Transportation Management Association. I'll talk about that a little bit later as well. I think that either November or December, they'll come and present so we can have an indication of what's going on that front. Hopefully, you'll find some use out of that. And again, anyone has any suggestions, the point is not to keep everyone here for 3 hours. We understand people are time constrained, but we'd like some useful discussions on top of this official business as well. So this is kind of just an outlook of what we're looking at in this new federal fiscal year.
Excellent. Thank you. We appreciate it. And the next item that we're going to move on to is item number 5, the Safe Streets for All, and talk about how to access a document and make a comment.
Yep. So I gave a presentation on this Safe Streets for All program in August when we last met. At that point, we did not have a draft document ready, but we made the suggestion to the MPO to release it for public comment. We're within the comment period right now. That comment period lasts through next Tuesday, October 14th. You've probably been spammed by some emails from us. The way you access that document is you go to our homepage, mrpc.org. Under announcements, you can see the project website here, MRPC MART Safety Action Plan. And there's a lot of background info within here on what the SS4A is. Won't rehash everything, but essentially we got awarded a grant from Federal Highway to put together this plan for our region. The premise of the program is to work towards Vision Zero, meaning 0 fatalities and incapacitating injuries on our roadways. So within the plan, we recommend a number of different projects at various locations in the region. By virtue of having this endorsed by the NPO, hopefully next week, all those projects will become federal funding eligible. Here's the plan. Again, you can access it via our website. If there's any issues, reach out to either me or George Snow, our project manager for this project. It's an extensive document. There's a lot of information in here. It's pretty interesting. We go into the methodology and everything like that. Again, the main takeaway is the projects we identify which will become eligible for federal funding. So this is available for public comment through next week on the 14th. To date, we've received some sort of minor comments, nothing major, some follow-up on some projects. We'll be making some minor changes in some of the visuals and the maps and things like that. But nothing groundbreaking. What we'll do is we'll go over anything else we receive from with the MPO next week. We'll ask for their endorsement, and then we'll be ready to go after funding when they issue another funding opportunity at the federal level. So thanks everyone for your involvement in this. It'd be good to get this through that door, and we'll follow up in coming months on next steps for communities.
Brian, I just want to thank you and the MRPC team and everybody else involved in that, because I was able to sit on several of those meetings, and I know there was a lot of work, a lot of research that went into this. So thank you for putting that together.
Sure, I'll make special mention of George Snow from our staff. We kid around with him. He's the safety guru, and he has been for years. He's been involved in crash data analysis and everything like that. But really, it was important for us to kind of work along with our consultant and make sure everything was going smoothly. So it was very involved, and I give George a lot of credit for that. I feel like it's a very quality plan. Hopefully, we can see some projects being built in the next year or so. So, thank you.
Absolutely. And if you haven't read that plan, if you have some time, you should give it a look over. A lot of great information in there. Looking at the next item on the list, number 6, the contract status reports. We'll hear from the RTA and then also MassDOT. Mart, want to go first?
What are you looking for on this?
So typically, Scott, any ongoings, and I can give one. So at the MPO next week, Mart will be presenting their Transit Access Management Plan, or TAM plan. That's something they've been working on in recent months. Typically, Scott, if there's any schedule changes or new routes or any new initiatives or anything like that, typically George Kahali in the past has been kind of our liaison to this group.
Yeah, George has retired.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we're working on our biggest thing is our Fitchburg Leominster bus routes. We're targeting in November 3rd launch of the new revised routes, meant to make them somewhat more frequent and improve our efficiency. So that's one of the big things we're doing for that. And that's all of our 11 bus routes in those two cities. We have a feasibility study. We have an RFP out for looking at possibly converting from a flag down system into a fixed bus route system to improve safety and help us in that respect. So that is something we'll be getting going once we get some companies to help us with that. So those are probably our two big projects that we have. We just did all our council on aging contracts over as well. So we're going to continue to do everything similarly that we've done in the past, except we had some changes in how we want them to do some insurance things and what we can do and not do. So those are probably, we got a Safe Streets and Shelters grant that we're going to get funding for about 17 new bus shelters we're going to be putting in our communities. So that was another thing that we'll be getting done in the next year, a calendar year. So I think those are some of the major things that Mart is working on right now.
Yeah, and also in addition to the Fitchburg and Leominster route changes, one of the major changes we are making is the Route 2 and 9. Over the years, it's been running as one route, even though they have two different names. But with this change, the upcoming changes, we'll be separating these two routes. And currently we have Route 2 Express, which also runs in addition with the 2 and 9. But with the future change, we will be running these two buses, the 2 Express and the 2 as one bus. So it would be 2 buses on one route and 1 bus on the Route 9, because the Route 2 is kind of longer than the 9. So having the two two buses on 7 that long route and one bus focusing on the other routes. It makes it generally we are reducing the headway from about 40 minutes to about 25 minutes for the two routes after these changes. So this is one of the important points that I want to add to these changes.
And there'll be a transfer at Monument Square in Leominster for those two routes.
I can give an update. The Mass Department of Transportation 3C, that's related to MRPC transportation staff's contract. So basically, as I mentioned, we're in a new federal fiscal year. We're done with the Unified Planning Work Program from 2025. We're on to new projects. Look forward to bringing some of those projects forward to this group and presenting some useful information to people. One thing I wanted to point out is a article from North Central Mass Chamber of Commerce fall report regarding the creation of the North Central Mass Rides Transportation Management Association. So this is an effort spearheaded by a number of groups, mainly Health Equity Partnership of North Central Mass. Chana 9 has been instrumental in spearheading this along with the chamber to create a Transportation Management Association for the Montachusett region, or a TMA. So TMA is basically what they are. They're nonprofit membership-based associations that focuses on improving transportation in the area. So this particular TMA in our region was a collaborative effort between a number of groups, the Chamber, the Chana 9, MART, Devon's Enterprise Commission, some area hospitals. Our transportation staff has been involved somewhat as well, among other groups. Really, the purpose of this TMA is, kind of think along the lines of getting people to work, business accessing employees that can actually access work, patients getting to hospital visits, students getting to Mount Wachusett or Fitchburg State, among other things. So it's a collaboration between businesses, colleges, hospitals to increase accessibility, and especially as it relates to what's called the first and last mile. And what that is basically, we're lucky to have public transit in this region through, MART's fixed bus routes and their services, and the MBTA, and the commuter rail stations in the area. But first and last mile, getting people to their final destinations, even if they're not on a fixed route. This is what this group will be concentrating on. So it's a real positive development for transportation and transit in our region. And it's a real great collaboration between MART, Chana 9, the Chamber, hospitals, everyone, to really make improvements. So this North Central Mass Rides TMA has potential to have a lot of benefits region-wide. Things like economic development and quality of life and everything like that. So we plan on having some type of presentation from this group, either November and December. They're just getting off the ground. There's a lot of information in this article. Potentially this could have some positive effects for your community. And at the very least, it's nice to know that things are moving in the right direction. So just wanted to make a note of that.
Thank you for sharing that article. And I also put the digital copy of the full report. I sent a link to that in the chat. If anyone wants to download it there as well, they can. And then just if anyone is interested in finding out more information about the TMA, they can always email me. My email is on the contact website for northcentralmass.com. Happy to direct you to the correct channel for that if you have questions about membership or anything like that. And the next item we have is administrative matters, the effects of the federal shutdown on the TIP.
Yep. Okay. So I originally put this in when I created the agenda last week. Obviously, there's a federal shutdown. Our partners that we work closely with at Federal Highway and FTA, some of them have furloughed. The main one of the main discussion points with this group in the NPO is dealing with TIP amendments. There was some thought that this, could be affected to some degree. Seemingly, there's nothing this month. We'll see what happens next month. We do anticipate some amendments coming down the line, just minor stuff, in November or December. Doesn't seem to be as much of an issue as when I put this on the agenda originally, but if we have any updates, we'll relay that information. Um, as for the proposed schedule to the end of the calendar year, if you refer back to my tentative official business schedule that I discussed earlier, most of that work happens kind of in the winter, in the spring, and the early summer. Um, we're still in kind of a late season. We opted to go every other month back in June through the end of the calendar year, which would mean skipping November in this case and meeting again the second Wednesday in December. If something comes up, I can reconvene if there's some major amendments or something, some development. We can meet in November. But that's kind of what we decided back in June. I don't know if there's any additional feedback if we would rather meet in November and skip December, and I don't know what we'll have to discuss in December as well. But that's kind of the schedule we've been on. So if we keep with that, our next meeting would be December 10th. Not necessarily within, the busy portion of the month later in the month.
And does anybody have any input on that or suggestions or questions?
I just have a question about the safety action plan and the comments that the comment period. Are we is MRPC gonna handle all those comments? And are we gonna see them at any point
Yeah.
before that report's finalized?
Well, to tell you the truth, the comments have been kind of more editorial. There haven't been any major comments at this point. The comment period's still going. Yeah, absolutely. We can go over that with this group as we typically do with some of the federal level documents that
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
I know in Townsend's case, there was a comment from, I believe, the town planner, more or less looking forward to collaborate and figure out next steps at
Yeah.
that location. So I'm going to follow up with him,
Mhm.
and probably you too as well, Beth.
Okay.
And then
Sure.
and Shirley, there was a comment on, there was some clarification on a project location, so we're going to change an image on a map. Basically, it wasn't clear. Those are the two comments.
Okay.
We had an in-house comment, just a correction on some of the, boilerplate information that we put in there in relation to our commissioners and everything like that, name changes and things like that. But those are the three comments, in a nutshell. Nothing
Okay.
major. We'll see what happens
Yep.
during the rest of
Okay.
the comment period. But yeah, I think that's probably a good kind of agenda item in the future.
Does the MPO have to approve it, or is it just done once those?
Yeah, the MPO will endorse it. And then all the projects within will be qualified for federal funding. There's no extra step community has to do in terms of like adopting a policy or anything like that. We took care of that region wide. I know there's a number of other Safe Streets for All awards throughout our region, like Fitchburg and Leominster got one, Gardner got one. I don't believe they're at the stage where they have a plan yet. But in any event, even without going through the process, all of our communities are qualified to access these funds. We'll be following up with some additional information, especially when the next notice of funding opportunity comes across as well.
Thank you. So with that, I'm fine with December 10th for the next meeting.
Works for me as well. I'm not sure if anybody else has any additional input. I would say, Brian, I would say just go for the December 10th unless like something breaking happens.
Right. Okay. That sounds good. We'll have some information about the TMA group, probably a tip amendment. I guess at that point, the comment period will close for the SS4A. We can talk about the comments. And then we'll see where the agenda stands at that point. Any suggestions? Always open to those as well.
We're looking forward to our corridor analysis study presentation on the 20th in Townsend. So maybe that would be something we could do at the next meeting too. It's a UPW project that Mr. Snow is finishing up and Grace. So
Yeah,
it's
Beth, that's a good idea. And this is an example of when we solicit projects for our UPWP through our communities. We did a project in this past year, just wrapping up in Townsend on the 119 quarter, sort of on the eastern portion of the town, east of Townsend Village over by the high school. So presenting to the community later this month, and looking forward to kind of presenting that to them, and hopefully see some tangible benefits in the future, possibly a tip project. We'll see. So yeah, that's a good idea, Beth.
for December, maybe. Okay, thanks.
And with that, I believe that's all the business for today. If someone wants to make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Elizabeth Jackson.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
Second to adjourn, Scott Rich.
Thank you, Scott. And thank you, everybody, for participating in this meeting today. It really is important. So thank you. And we look forward to seeing you in December.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.